Oh my gosh. Hey, welcome to Touche Life. And November is here. So today we're going to jumpstart a little bit of the holiday season and some of my saving my sanity hacks that I've come to learn over the years. It's a part of my testimony. It's definitely a part of my truth. And it brought about a lot of transformation. So get ready for a fun episode. Grab you some tea to sip on. I'm in my PJs and let's get into this good stuff. Hey, again, it's your girl Alma T, and welcome to Touche Life, where we gain our strength through truth, testimony, and ultimately transformation. I am so glad that you are here, and I mean that from my heart. You could be a million other places, and you drop by here. God had it fixed. So let's get into this good stuff. Like I said, grab your tea. I wanted to make some before we got here because it is November. It is November. It is November 2024, and this is real. The year is going. The holidays have kicked in. The holiday anticipation has kicked in. And no, you know, you don't necessarily have to be a holiday Christmas person or get into the hustle and bustle, but it's just in the atmosphere. So I want to take some time on this episode to talk a little bit about my life happy hacks that I've done because maybe they will help and bless somebody. And I know they can help and bless somebody. But I also want to talk about some relationship goodies to share that I've learned over the years and, broken relationships and why fix them now before the holidays. And I even brought my notes. I bought some notes this time. I never really make notes, but I put down some bullet points that I wanted to share with you because this is all about transformation. This is all about making life better and enjoying life to the fullest. That's what Touche Life is all about, where we're a community of hope that come together and grow together and love to see each other win. So just want to jump in and just talk about a few things. This is very laid back. I am in my pajamas. I am kicking it with some tea tonight, and I care about you. That's how comfortable and real I just want us to be this evening. So let's get into it. Welcome to Touche Life. So it is November. We have just come off of the cusp of a very tense, historical election. Okay. Numbers would have it, we have a brand new president. So I'm starting off with that before we get into the other good stuff. Because look, and I've done other Facebook posts, but I just kind of want to put this out. Look, you cannot, regardless of your stance, afford, if you are alive and God has allowed you to have another day, hear my heart, another day, another hour, another week. You do not have time to walk around, be disgruntled, be mad, and be a victim because you may not like who is in the presidential office. And I'm just a person who's going to give it to you wrong. You just don't have time. You're alive. You have too much other stuff to do. If you do not agree with the person who is in office, listen, hear from my heart. Be the change you want to see. Be the change you want to see. Okay, that's a whole nother topic where we talk about. I personally believe we should vote our convictions. My convictions are biblical, bibliocentric convictions. That's just that's me, and I stand on it. Stand on Bible with that. But I've seen so much hatred, disagreement, discouragement, disdain, almost like desperate victimization because of the election. And listen, what will you gain by walking around disgruntled? You're allowing someone to rob that from you. And this plays a part in what we're talking about today. This is like one of my life happy hacks. Be the change you want to see. We are not victims. We're not victims. We are not victims. And for those of us who are in the body of Christ, listen, I did a video on my Facebook and I just made it real. you know, that ought to not even be our attitude or our stance towards it. Bringing more division, bringing things down. If we truly trust in Jesus Christ as our personal Lord and Savior, which I do, it does not matter who's in office or if no one is not in office, because my joy, hope, source, freedom, liberties, um, strength, protection, covering is in the Lord. It doesn't mean everything's going to always be perfect by the world's standards, but He's perfect and everything will work out for my good. And so, as we get into other shows, we can talk about, the different political concerns and the stances and why, I'm open to always talk, but I have my political stances that I stand on, again, bibliocentric, but it doesn't stop me from loving you. And it shouldn't stop us from loving one another just because we disagree. So as we kick off these happy hacks for going into the holiday season, the first thing I can say is this is where we are. More than likely, President Donald J. Trump is the new president again, or what have you. And that should not deter your hope. That should not deter your faith. That should not deter your anticipation and excitement for coming up for the holiday season, when there are so many opportunities and memories to be made with your family and loved ones and friends. Um, and just to end that point before we get into the other goodies I have, if you can allow your disdain, especially to the body of Christ, or discouragement or fear to grab hold of you like that because someone was elected president, quite frankly, your hope is in the wrong place. And that's not a Donald Trump problem or a Kamala Harris problem. That is a you problem. And my encouragement and hug to you is that no one should have that much control over you. My prayer this day, holiday season, this year, this month, from now on for you is that you will know who you are, whose you are, and serve an audience of one. That's true freedom. That's true freedom. I promise you, it's true freedom. And if you ever want to know more about it, please comment down below. You have my website, tashaylife.com. My contact information is always on there. I don't have a problem with communicating with anybody. Anybody just want to talk more about the Lord or why I believe what I believe, or Christians believe what we believe, I don't have a problem having a conversation, because that's what we're here for. So listen, let's get into these happy hacks and just leave that behind. The election is done and we have business to tend to, and we can continue on in whatever way we need to continue on, whatever we feel we need to stand on, fight for, pray about, serve and honor, respecting the government like Christ allowed. We can do it. That's it. So that's one thing off our plate. How about that? Now, the other things I want to talk about, I want to talk about when it comes to the holidays, right? Um, for years. Let me just backtrack. So my mom, Mary, who raised me, my mom and dad, it was like 20, no, it was 1993. So she had me all these years, and I had always put up the Christmas tree. We would put up the Christmas tree. That was like a big thing. I just love to decorate it and all that there. And so this last particular year, 19th, it was no big deal if I did it by myself. Like she would watch me do it or what have you. And this last year, 1993, put up the Christmas tree. And when I finished, she said, I would have liked to put up that Christmas tree with you. And I felt so bad. I was like, oh, mommy, I'm sorry. I didn't know, mom. Because you usually did. But, she really didn't say nothing. She just loved to see me enjoy it. Like any good parent, you love to see your child happy and enjoy it, right? So I put up the Christmas tree. Mom and I had a great conversation in March. Um, the end of March, 94. April 1st, 94, she had a stroke. We had another in depth conversation. May 29th, she went home to be with the Lord. And I never got a chance to put up another Christmas tree. And I'm sure you know and understand that it's not the Christmas tree, it's the memory made with being with those you love. That's why you don't have time to be sitting around mad about the election, wasting time. Be putting energy into making memories. Because mom died when I was 14. I went on, I buried her the week of my junior high graduation. I went on to graduate high school, go into college, get married, birth 6 children, have grandchildren. And she wasn't there for it. Now, nothing trumps God's sovereignty, but you can understand my heart when I missed that memory. So as I went on after she passed, that's what her passing, which will actually be another episode. Um, but her passing led me back into the arms of Christ. It led me running back in depth with him. Because prior to her death, one that deep conversation I said we had, I was like, with all these different religions and all these different um, you know, philosophies, I don't even know if I believe anymore. And I remember she said to me, "You will." And it was the way she looked at me laying down. That she knew, I think she knew something was going on. She was just laying down in her bed, just talking. She was so strong. And I was like, "Mm." But when she passed, the humility, the humbleness, the fear of the Lord, the zeal with knowledge for the Lord really came on, and that's what he used through her death. So with more intentionality, right? It was my passion and intention to make the most out of life. I loved on daddy while he was here. Got married when I raised my children, all my friendships. I really strive uh, to be the best friend I could be. Now, there was some areas in my life where some codependency jumped in there, and that's a different subject that wasn't healthy. Uh, but the intentionality and the purity of heart, that's what I'm focusing on. I always wanted to make memories. So when I had my children, we st- I, w- I wanted us to have traditions like those boundaries, those miles, those what do they call them? Um, like those legacies, you know what I mean? Uh, that our family did. So family was already big because if I can't do nothing else, one thing I can do it's by the grace of God. But one thing I can do and I enjoy to do is I can cook. Now, I'm not a cuisine person. I am a Southern uh, kitchen soul food type of chick. Okay. I'll make them big old pans of collard greens, cornbread, macaroni and cheese, string beans with the ham, hot smoked. I'm gonna make it all that, make the macaroni and cheese. I'm gonna make that. So we would cook and it would be family time. And when my children were growing up, even though I was a disciplinarian, it was fun to have them in the kitchen. So you had all 6 of my children, Malia, JC, Kayla, Sarah, Mark, Damari, and Josh, right? And um, one, especially the girls, I would always be in the kitchen cooking something, pie, sweet potato pie, something. And one of them would always get my attention so that the other ones can kind of dip their finger in the pie or the, or in the cake or in the whatever we did, mashed potatoes, macaroni and cheese, going back and forth. And it would just turn out to be a joke. I'm like, hello, Leah, Sarah, Daisy, that made me do it, that made me do it. And it was just fun to make the memory. So where am I going with that? I was just sharing that because as we embark, some things I've learned embarking upon the holiday season is that the memories are more important than anything. We want the good meal and you can have the good meal and the good food but don't be so incumbent, you know what I'm saying, on making everything so perfect that you miss out on the principle. Sometimes we can strive to make sure the decorations are right, especially if we're hosting the flowers are right, the scenery is right, and we put all this energy into that to when the family comes, the children come, it's time to celebrate and enjoy and feast. We too tired, we're too agitated, we're too aggravated, and we just don't want to be bothered. And then you wind up chilling for the rest of the day or crashing for the rest of the day instead of making heartfelt memories, and then you just have another day that is passed by. And I can remember one time I stayed up all night, even though it was out of love. I literally stayed up all night and had to be to work the next morning at the police department, 6 to 6, and stayed up all night before cooking oxtails, turkey, ham, so much cooked for all my children who were at the house, grandbabies who were at the house, my boyfriend at the time and his children, everybody who wanted to come back because people always want to come back for a plate. Um, and I was so tired that I couldn't even really enjoy the family when I did get home because I was crashed. And I just want to encourage you, don't do that. And here's some fun ways that you can do it without doing it. Another thing that we do, I will tell you this, another I forgot what we call it, but it's just like a memory marker that we would do in our family when the children were growing up. So after Thanksgiving dinner, what two things? After Thanksgiving dinner, it was always very important um, to me that our family, especially our children, knew how blessed we were to be able to be together to have a meal. Okay. So whenever we ate dinner, whenever all those meals we cooked, I intentionally had everyone pack a plate. So there were, seven of us at one point, or eight of us at one point, six kids, two parents. Then it was, one parent, six kids. But each of us had to have a plate after we ate, chilled out for the night. Went and got our Christmas tree, which is, well, first we packed a plate, and then we would go out into the field or into the streets and wherever we were led, and we would find a homeless person and give it out to a homeless person or a person on the street, a displaced person, a young lady who looked like she might have been prostitute, crack addict, whatever. And I'm not saying that to demise it, but I mean, we would give it out to a person in need because we never, or a family that we knew in need, that was totally separate, but we definitely wanted to go out on the street. If we knew a family was in need, we would do that too. But that was one of the memories because I never wanted, again, the children to forget how blessed we were, no matter how much or how little we thought we had. You always get. So that's one of our memory markers. The other memory marker, after we did that, then it was the reward. Because so many times we get caught up in doing the incentive. We have to learn how to keep a balance, I think, in life, in the world. Um, Even with, push pause, like in our nonprofit, a lot of times, a lot of nonprofits I noticed pushed incentives for the kids. You do this, you get to go to the movies, you get to do that. And that's great. And we should do that. And I don't have a problem with any of that. But also in the incentive, there is an encouragement to give back. It's just not all about you working to give. What are you going to do to give back? And I'm very adamant. So after we gave and we gave unto the poor and contributed whatever way God told us to, then we would go pick out a live Christmas tree. So back then at the Palm Beach Mall in Palm Beach County, Florida, they had the live, I can't remember the name, but they had live Christmas trees they would cut and they would have them out on Thanksgiving Day. Now I think they come the day after Thanksgiving Day, but whatever. Back then they came out on Thanksgiving Day. So after we ate, stuffed, had a good time, gave out food, we would go get a live Christmas tree. Like I love Fraser firs. And we would take the Christmas tree and we would take it and put it up that night and decorate. Had to get some tea in there. So then we would decorate it. And that would be our family memory because the goal, again, thinking back to my mom, I never wanted to miss a memory or miss making a memory. So that might not be your job with your family. And maybe you're watching this and you really don't celebrate Christmas. Maybe you're Jewish. Maybe you celebrate Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, or don't, not at all. But the principle still remains the same. What memory markers are you willing to make as we embark upon this holiday season? It is cool to go to somebody else's house and let them be the host and whatever, but what are you doing with your family? I promise you, it's the simplest things. I don't care if everybody just plays games and Uno. Our family is a Uno family. think that's because I can't play any games. But what is it that you can do as a memory marker for your family? When the hurricanes hit a couple months ago, I think I told you all, I went to Dollar Tree, right? And bought paint and construct paint paper. And we did watercolors and paint because I knew it would kind of calm our minds in case of any anxiety was coming up and maybe the children couldn't express it, restlessness, and then fun. And it would be a memory and a creative act. So God has given us family. What would you want to be done in your family? What would your memory marker be this holiday season? I have learned that, and it gave a peaceful anticipation. So, one, don't overdo it. As far as just uh, being so busy that you miss the moment. That's a life principle, but especially with the holidays, being so busy you miss the moment. Don't overdo it. And create memory markers, memory making moments. Ask the family, what are some things you want to do? What are some things you like? And you can do it together. And that could be your memory thing. Maybe it's a game of kickball between families. Maybe it's tug of war. Maybe it's whatever. A special recipe. One year, um, the boys were still little, so it was just the girls. All of us had to make a dessert. So I would make the sweet potato pie. One of them made a sweet potato souffle. One of them made an apple something. Everybody made a dessert. And so each year we would rotate while they were home who would make a dessert or who would make a dish. So whatever the memory marker is, that's what I want you to focus on. So I hope that helps. Okay. So now let me get into some other things that are fun. Um, I want to talk about a little bit about some ways to save and some things you can do now. Okay, so I'm going to because this was so good and so important. I didn't want to remember. I didn't want to forget. Another cool thing you can do now. Me and a girlfriend. Actually, she's a cousin, but she's a sister, and she's a prayer partner, and she's a warrior. But we do something fun. We haven't done it since football season started, but we started this thing called tea time. So learn to embrace technology, right? A couple things you can do. Learn to embrace technology if you haven't. We're on social media and Facebook and TikTok and all that all day, posting stuff, and that's your freedom. But learn to embrace and utilize it with family that is near and far. So one thing that we would do once a week for our conversations is we would jump on Zoom. We said it like on Tuesday nights or something like that, a night we both had clear. We would get on Zoom. We'd already be ready for bed like I am now. We would have our tea or whatever you drink at night. We'd have our tea, and this would be our time to talk. We would call it our tea time. And like we could be on the couch in our house or whatever the case may be. And we would just sit and talk like we are at each other's house. And that was our date with one another. You know what I'm saying? So as the holidays approach, maybe something fun I thought about if family is away, right? Family is away, out of state, out of town, serving in the military. Hats off to many who are serving in the military. Maybe you can zoom them in and make like schedule that in, like have time. Oh my gosh, what you're doing? Not just a random call, schedule time to actually talk where you're intentional and you're sitting down and you're enjoying one another, even if it's just 15 minutes, make the memory. um Maybe do some on Zoom. I know you can share, you can share on Zoom, put up some family photos if you want to have like a 30-minute family time as children go away. I know what it's like now having adult children. And sometimes they're in different places and spaces, and just to make a day for the memory, not hey mommy, hey daddy, that's cool, but hey, remember this, remember that. Do something fun together. Now for my real techie people, I know y'all know how to play games together on apps and all that. I'm not there yet, but I can be there. But do that with Zoom. Incorporate that in. Maybe while you're making the dinner and you're away and everybody remembers your famous dish. So maybe the whole family jumps in on a Zoom or FaceTime, but I'm just using Zoom. And everybody's talking about, yeah, I'm making a potato salad. Oh yeah, I'm making the quiche, or yeah, I'm making the string bean casserole, whatever it is, and you're making memories together. Here, let me tell you something. This is why this is so key and important. One, the older you get, the more you realize how precious time is. Two, once you've lost someone or someone's, you realize how precious time is. Three, with the world and the economy and the state, the country and the state that it's in. Now, this is not back to what I said before. I'm not a victim. Uh, but with the threat of maybe technology, no matter who was in office, technology being affected, phone shut down 3 months ago, people didn't know what to do. You understand what I'm saying? We want to maximize every moment that we have with the freedoms and the liberties that we have because technology is going to keep advancing, right? So make these memories. A wise woman told me one time, you never get time back. You can't get time back. So they're only going to be that age that one time. Your 1 year old will only be that 1 year old one that time. Your 16-year-old will only be that 16-year-old that time. You get what I'm saying? You will only be the mother of that 3-year-old that time. So enjoy that time. And speaking from somebody who has lost albums full of photos from fire and flood before we were backing everything up on CD-ROMs and all that and Google. You want those memories. You just want. So now, like I said, for people who trademark, that was the word I was thinking of. You want to trademark, make your memory markers trademark. So maybe some people who aren't away, maybe your children aren't away, like I said, maybe you just got some girlfriends or some family that may not be coming over, but you just want to connect. Maybe have a Thanksgiving Eve chat just to kind of like treat yourself downtown and all that kind of stuff. And maybe meet on Zoom or meet on a chat for maybe like 30 minutes and share with each other like what are you grateful for about each other? What do you appreciate about each other? What is your prayer for that person this Thanksgiving season? I think personally that Thanksgiving is oftentimes discounted and not given the joy and the credit that it could. Now, apart from my birthday, Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. It really has become, I should say, my favorite holiday because I think it's where you get the chance to take a moment. You have every opportunity to take a moment and chill and relax and enjoy. You get what I'm saying? And just fixate on what's special and important. Now, the sad part about it is Thanksgiving Day, the day we spend giving time for thankfulness and all that, which should be a lifestyle. The very next day is one of the greediest days of the year, Black Friday, which we're going to talk about too, because what can we do to kind of change the game on that? But so those are some fun ways with technology. Maybe everybody in a group chat. We want to make memories, monumental memories, and trademark something for your family. If you don't have something that your family does every year that's life standing and memorable and can be passed down from generation to generation, let this be the year that you think of something, whatever it is you want to do. Whatever it is you want to do, a secret family recipe, whatever it is, I think it would be great. So I hope that helps. So now let's talk about keep it simple, sweetie. We've heard keep it simple, sweetie. Kiss, by the famous infinite lady Mary Kay Ash. But keep it simple, sweetie. Thanksgiving hacks. Now, this is some of these are from realsimple.com, but these are some extra hacks that I jump on. So I'm talking about, what saved me time and keeping my sanity as I got older and mature. I mean, I raised 6 kids. We were the house that the 6 kids' friends wanted to come to. So their birthday parties had like 20 kids. No doubt. Because all the kids from the church, and there was a little crew, and there was a group of my friends. Each of us had like two, three, four, 5 kids apiece. So it was just cool to do that. And we didn't have the most fancy house, and it wasn't the biggest house. It didn't have the most technology, but it had a lot of love, had a lot of land, had a lot of freedom, had a lot of discipline, had a lot of love. And it just felt good to be there. So we made memories. So in that though, I had to learn how to save my sanity and my stress, especially now that I'm getting a little seasoned and more mature. So there are some things that have to be, have to be adjusted. So let's just say, um, one thing that you can do, and I hope this helps. So grab your pen, grab a pencil, grab your tablet, make a note. I pray this blesses somebody. This is timeless. I did this actually 2 weeks ago. You can start one thing that can benefit you as you approach Thanksgiving and holiday, whether you are hosting or not, but especially if you're hosting, start shopping now. I'm sure you know that in October, stores put items on sale for Thanksgiving in October. So you think like a retailer, even in the business that I'm in cosmetics or skincare, I'm in clothing business. Uh, think like a retailer. Christmas deals and sales and holiday things, and we're talking about Thanksgiving, but I'm mentioning Christmas because that's how far ahead it is. We went in Kroger today, my daughter and I, and they're like 2 aisles that's just full of Christmas stuff. Thanksgiving was out 2 months ago. So once 4th of July comes, actually, once the 4th of July comes and is passed, once Labor Day hits, you can really start sprinkling in holiday, especially if you're big on holiday with family. You might buy a pack of napkins. If you know you're hosting, gonna have 40 people, you might buy all the napkins from the Dollar Tree in September. They had them out. October, you can buy the fall napkins, maybe the plates and the cups. Kroger, for those of us who are in Georgia, um, Winn-Dixie in Florida, Aldi's, places like that, they started having their sales on like baked beans, all the perishable, excuse me, non-perishable items. So it sounds crazy, but I promise you this saves you a lot of time. Let me tell you, 2 years ago, our first year in Georgia, I did a Walmart. And I think this was like really one of the last times I went to Walmart. I went one other time after that, and that's when I really got some rotten meat. And that happened like twice. One was delivered, one was there. That's a different story. I really haven't been back there, but whatever. Um, I'm working first year in Georgia. We got up here in August. This is November. Um, and I did a huge Walmart order. I did everything on that night. We were just getting into a fresh new apartment, getting everything there, and getting acclimated and adjusted. It's cold, it's new weather. I did a huge order, like 300 some dollar order because I'm feeding my children. You understand what I'm saying? And Walmart at that time, no shade, the system went down. We're talking like the night before, 2 nights before. The system went down. Okay. The order system, they get the ticket. So you do the order online, they get the ticket. And the order went down, the system went down, and I could not get my food. I actually had to, well, I sat out there for 3 hours to get it because the line was so long and it was just a mess. They came out, basically gave us our tickets and told us to pull it up on the phone, and we had to go in and pick out the food and show our tickets that we had paid. Can you imagine the stress when you were supposed to pick it up at 2, were told to come at 5, sat out there till 8, they were closing at 10, you had to do your shopping so that you could start cooking the next day. Can you imagine the level of anxiety and stress and just all the things, right? Can you imagine? Okay, so being that I was newly there, I did not prepare like I normally do. So you go grab some items, start now. I will tell you back in October, which was just last month, after my birthday, right? After my whole little rodeo show, I went grocery shopping. Couple days later, had my showdown, went grocery shopping. I did get some baked beans. I think Kroger had uh, perishable things, little things that I really didn't have to make homemade, but they were good backups to have on hand. They had cake frosting, and just in case I didn't feel like doing my own, or I might do one homemade and one like that. They had baked beans, they had cake mix, they had What all did they have? Kroger had a bunch of stuff. There was like buy one, get one free fillings, pie crust. They had all that. So I picked up those little things in my order so that they wouldn't have to be, last minute items. Because I wound up missing out on some things when I had to go in the store shopping. Because what happens when you shop the last 2 days of Thanksgiving? Okay, and everybody's order was crashed. We missed some things. They didn't have the right kind of condensed milk that I needed. They didn't have this seasoning that I needed. So, oh, that's another thing, seasoning. So the first thing I would do, and some of this is also, well, this is mine, but realsimple.com, it's a great little website. They don't know me, I don't know them, but I like what I saw. Make your menu now. It's not too early to make your menu. Actually, it could have been made in October. November, you can be making, if you haven't made your Christmas list, you can make a Christmas list and Christmas menu. And then vice versa, the same thing for New Year's. But go ahead and make your menu now. What do you want? Have a family meeting. My children know I'm the meeting boss. Have a family meeting, write down what you want. What do you think you have a taste for? Find out where your local meat markets are. Um, who would have the best deal if you plan on going to a farmer's market. Those little things, those 30 minutes of planning can save you days of time. 30 minutes of planning can save you a day's worth of time. Okay, I'm so serious because the closer we get, people are going to start selling out of things. You know about the shipping issues that have been happening. Come on, why wait, right? So, one thing, make your menu now. Two, start to pick up little things along the way and watch the sale paper. I think one thing, get on my soapbox, that we do, I mean, this is testimony time. I miss the Palm Beach Post or the newspapers. Before we got so electronic, before we became so electronic, every Sunday, and I owe this to a girl. We did this at the police department years ago. Everybody would go get their Sunday paper, or one person would go get the Sunday paper because it was going to have all the coupons in it for the week. We would rack up all of our coupons to know what we were going to get for the week. It was so tangible and just more intentional. And with more electronics, we've gotten away, if we're not careful, from the intentionality of it. Okay, so many ways, a little bit of discipline saves a whole lot of dollars. A little bit of discipline save a whole lot of dollars, not to mention time. So what I'm saying is start grabbing your goodies now so that you're not in a bind when something runs out and you can enjoy it. Because if you want purple onions for your quiche and they don't have any more purple onions, it's just not going to feel the same. And that's unnecessary stress. Unnecessary, like, ugh. You know what I'm saying? And remember, we're not trying to make it perfect. We're making it perfect for us and we're making it peaceful. So go ahead and start shopping now. That's one thing. Realsimple.com is good. Start your light shopping, like a box of macaroni. That's what I stocked up on. Get your macaroni noodles now. Macaroni noodles are always going to sell it. Macaroni noodles are always going to sell out. I don't make Stouffer's dressing. I make real homemade cornbread dressing. So get your cornbread now, or get your flour and um your meals, and get those things now because those can last. Any canned goods, get them now. Sugars, seasonings are really good to get now, and they always go on sale now. And like a week, 2 weeks before. So next week, everything's going to be that regular price, if not more expensive. Okay. Recipes together, save time, keep you from overspending. Who to grab? We talked about your paper plates. If you're hosting, go ahead and grab you some tissue now. I'm talking about toilet tissue. We're keeping it real here on Touche Life. Okay. Get your toilet tissue now. Get you some paper towel now. Maybe stock up on a case of water once a week now, or once a pay period till the time comes. So you already have it. You're not trying to carry out 6 cases of water. I mean, right? Yeah, let's just go ahead and get it. Cleaning when it comes to the house, 2 weeks before. What are we on, the 8th, the 15th, 22nd? So maybe like next week, you can start a little bit of deep cleaning, like clean out a cupboard if you're hosting. Uh, Go ahead and get the oil changed if you're traveling. Um, Clean out the cupboards. Make sure all the blankets and sheets are washed. Maybe like take one day Have one of your kids delegate to do one day to make sure everything is folded and neat. So if people are coming, uh, if it's cold where you are, make sure the fireplace is already, cleaned out. Just little minimal hacks. Those little things are going to add up. And so you won't have to rush out and get everything. If you're traveling, now let's get into traveling real quick. Okay. Um, and then I have one other goodie, but this is, I'm telling you, I know this kind of seems just like, straight and, you know, just trust me, it's really good. It's really good. So, traveling, if you're traveling, now this is one thing I know from traveling and flying. The best days so far in the past 15 years that I've been flying, because I didn't fly much, but I traveled. 15 years I've been flying, Tuesday and Wednesdays are the best days to grocery shop and to get your flight ticket. So if you're flying out for Thanksgiving and you haven't gotten a ticket yet, Tuesday and Wednesdays are the best days to get your flight tickets. Just are. Best days to get your flight tickets usually have the lowest price because people travel less on those days. So the tickets go down. And if you ever watch tickets, they go up and down. It might take you a little bit of, watching to see where they're at. But buying tickets Tuesdays and Wednesdays, if you need one, those are the best time to do it. Grab your tickets. Um, what else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Just watch your sales. Anything that you need, your family's crafts. If games are on sale for right now and you want to have some activities for the family, like we talked about, plan on making Thanksgiving Day, and we'll talk a little bit more about that because this is part one. Talk a little bit more about different activities you can do with the family to make them memorable and monumental and trend setting for you and your family. So I hope this helps. I'm excited for you on that. And so it's just all about making memories, I promise you, because you can't get time back. With that being said, and we have a fun next week's lined up, but I want to talk a little bit about as we get ready to go into the holiday season. And I pray you hear my heart on this. So we're switching gears. Let's get broken relationships. I want you to look at those relationships that you have that may be broken. And it is my prayer that as we move forward in this season, in this new year, that we rid ourselves, cleanse ourselves, purge ourselves of anything that is hindering us from our greatest good, hindering us from our blessings, hindering us from our legacy and destinies. Unforgiveness, unforgiveness will keep God from blessing you. Period. It's in Mark and it's also in Matthew. I'll put it below. If you have an audience, anybody, go get it right before you even bring your offering. Uh, because if you don't forgive them, I won't forgive you. That's what basically it says. God will not forgive us if we don't forgive others. I'm not saying people didn't do you wrong. I'm not saying you have to let them back in your life. That's reconciliation. Forgiveness does not necessarily require reconciliation. I had to explain that to one of my deacons. You hear me talk about it before. I had to explain that to one of my deacons in the past because he wanted me to force a reconciliation with someone that was really extremely toxic, manipulative, and Jezebelic. Period. No, that doesn't happen. But for your sanity, for your peace, and for your ongoing success, don't take into this season hostility. Don't take disrespect. They manifest in your body as disease. They manifest in your body as heaviness and burdens, and it shows and it hinders all other things you have. So let's just check this out. Say there's somebody who has offended you before we even get to holiday shopping and Thanksgiving shopping and all of that, before we even get there, I would encourage you. If you don't have a journal, get a journal. If you don't have a prayer journal, I have conversations with my father. Get you a little spiral notebook, a composition book. Write down anyone that you have offended, or they've offended you, or you're holding an audience. I don't care if it's family, friends, children. exes, ex-spouses, new spouses, uh, jobs, whoever it is. I promise you. And you will know if you're holding a grudge against somebody, because if I'm talking to you right now and this has fell into your lap, fell into your space, fell into your arena, and I say, is there anybody that you don't forgive? Is there anybody that you have beef with? Is there anybody you have ought against? And God allows that person to come to your mind. I don't care how many times you say, no, I'm not holding any unforgiveness. I really don't think about it like that. I don't let that go. I don't care. If it's anybody that comes to mind, that's something that is in there, that is hidden, and the enemy is using it against you in a court of law. That's a whole different talk about the courts of heaven. If we start dealing with the Lord, like his word says, operates off a court system. That's one way he operates. And the enemy has legal rights when we sin to move against us and to hold us up. And because God is a gentleman, he's not a man that he shall lie, nor the son of man he shall have to repent. He has to honor what we have put in place because he gives us free will. That's a whole lesson, but just trust me on it. If you have not forgiven anyone, broken relationships will hinder the spirit of an event. Maybe you're just sad. Seasons are coming and changing. And because of hurt, unforgiveness, brokenheartedness, loneliness, the loneliest seasons are in winter. We're going into fall. We're in fall, moving into winter now. These are the loneliest seasons. The loneliest emotional times can be the most depressing times. It's the highest suicide rate because people are alone or they're still holding on to things and they don't know how to deal with this hopelessness or this loneliness. Let this be the year we get it right. I don't care if it's a phone call. It can be a phone call. If someone may not be alive anymore, write a letter. We underestimate the power of writing letters. Writing excretes pain. It purges, it releases would be a better word. It releases built up inner tension. It releases things that are bound up in it. It's an energy that goes out. I can't explain it, but I can bet you can write. And when you write, you get out that aggression and you write. And whatever it is you want to say, no one ever has to see it, but you write it. You get out so much just by writing. If there's someone who may be alive but will not talk to you or is not safe to converse with, right? When I say safe, I mean if you're hiding from somebody, it's a domestic situation, I'm not talking about that, but you understand what I'm saying. If there's just something between y'all and you don't know if it's cool to talk face to face, write it out, send a letter, release it. Before you go shopping and diddying up for your house and going to everybody else's house, and take time to release anything that's in you, of you, and around you that you're a part of that's not good for you, so that you can truly walk in Thanksgiving season thankful and grateful and appreciative and unhindered and unbound by past hurts and traumas. Because if you take it into Thanksgiving, it's going to flow into Christmas. It flow into Christmas, you ain't doing nothing but recycling 2025, what happened in 2024. It's not worth that. If you had a basket full of blessings and gifts and opportunities and new relationships and new people and new joys, and I've had this conversation with myself, so I'm speaking to me now, with new joys and a basket full of diamonds and gold. But every time you reach for it, it gets pulled back a little bit further because something is on you holding your hands. Because when you reach, it reaches back because you still have a hold. When you have a key called forgiveness, and forgiveness doesn't mean They didn't do anything wrong. Forgiveness doesn't mean they weren't wrong. Forgiveness means check it. You know what? I can't deal with that no more. I don't have the capacity to deal with that anymore. I no longer want to hold on to that. You have to deal with that. I'm done. You don't even have to. I no longer hold you to the debt that I feel is owed me. You know, when you feel somebody owe you something, like I want them to get that. I want them to hurt like I hurt. I want them to feel what I feel. When you no longer do that and release it, and when you don't know how to do it, just say, God, I really don't want to forgive them. I don't even know how to forgive them, but I no longer want this to hold me up. So God, I forgive them and help me forgive them. Help me be pure in forgiving. I don't want this anymore. He will do it. I promise you he will do it. That's why it's faith. You can't see it. We can't really explain it, but I can trust you that it's there. You can't see air, but you bet your bottom dollar, I bet you breathing. So listen, it's worth it. We're saving our sanity this Thanksgiving and holiday season. It is amazing. Start looking up in your state, in your city, what are some fun things to do during the holidays? They may be non-traditional, right? Maybe you don't want to do the Christmas tree. Maybe you want to cut your own Christmas tree. Maybe you want to go up to the mountains. Uh, it's always been a dream of mine to go to the cabins in the mountains. Maybe you want to go out to a social event and meet some new people. Maybe you want to have family t-shirts and have a t-shirt contest, or tank top, what is it, sweatshirt contest, and see who makes the best sweatshirts. Maybe you want to have a business plan for what the family's going to do. What meaningful time other than a good Thanksgiving football game, which we know is always good, like in Mary Kay, I don't know if I said, well, my business, whatever, whatever. In Mary Kay, one thing we did every year when people would get together, the dudes would be having football, right? Because there's always a good football game on Thanksgiving, and the ladies would be doing pampering and makeovers, right? That was creative though, and the children will be doing their thing. So the girls and the boys, maybe you want to have a slumber party with family and friends. You know, there's so much freedom to be had. Don't make people think there's no more freedom, whether it's political, emotional, relational. Don't be a slave to that. There are 24 hours in a day. You're still alive to see another day. So evidently there's opportunity for you. It may not be the opportunity in the place and the people that you once wish they were, but part of your freedom is being able to accept that and being willing to move into a new area where you can live out loud in joy. I hope this makes sense. I can't think of anything else I wanted to put down, but this is really what was on my mind. And so, what was on my heart actually. And so, I pray that something in this blesses you. Please comment, type, text down below some ideas that are good for you. And also, next week, get ready because we're going to be talking about some more Thanksgiving hacks and holiday goodies and all of that and recipes. But one thing we're going to talk about, I have a special guest because here on Touche Life, it's all about strength through true testimony and transformation. And some things, whatever God has given me to learn, opportunities, experiences, I have to get it out. It's not for me. I never want to be a container, only a conduit. It has to go through me. So one of my homeboys will be here talking about IULs, true family legacy, talk about trademark and boundaries and milestones, IULs. If you have never heard of the Rockefellers, which I'm sure you have, or the Vanderbilts, you need to. Now, the Vanderbilts made a different decision than the Rockefellers. So the Rockefellers outlasted them in a family legacy. But IUL, Index Universal Life Policy, is a building block for financial. Uh-oh, it failed. See, the enemy don't want me telling y'all that. The enemy does not want me telling y'all that. It is a building block for financial legacy for you, your children, your children, your children, your children, children. It is a form of life insurance. I can't explain it like he does, but I love it. It is a form of life insurance that can build wealth. It's also investing. You have cash value you can borrow from. There are just so many avenues on it, and I don't think a lot of people know about it. So I'm debating on whether or not I'm going to do it as a YouTube. It's going to be on YouTube, or if I'm just going to go live on Facebook. But his name is Kevin. He's amazing. And I would invite you, if you have any questions or even interest, just jump on, because here's the deal. Knowledge is an opportunity for power, and applied knowledge is power, right? So an informed decision is the best decision. If it's something you don't want and you rather like hold because he does that, or term, or IUL, at least know why you're saying yes or no. Don't get in the habit of just saying no and don't know what you're saying no to. Stop that. We're done with that this year. We're done with that form of ignorance and alienization. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. Okay. Um, we're making memories that will last a lifetime for our family. Uh, more family Thanksgiving ideas. So please, 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 I'll probably do a little bit more advertising on it to get you ready for next week's episode so you can join in with him. He's absolutely down to earth and amazing, makes everything so simple. And remember, I love you. And what concerns you concerns the Father. What concerns you concerns the Father. Tell him all about whatever's going on. He already knows. But he's a gentleman and he's waiting on you to tell him. He's not going to push. He's not going to bombard you. He's just going to make his presence known. He wants you to invite him into every situation. He just wants a conversation. And that conversation is called prayer. It's not difficult. As always, I'm Alma T. I'm your girl. Thank you for spending a night with me, a cozy night with me. I know a lot of times we have a little bit more music, a little bit more vibe and party, but I wanted this to be comfortable enough, just like if we were in our living rooms in our pajamas, teenage girls with socks on. I wanted it to be that comfortable because no more facades, just real, just deal. Live life and not let life live us. And so, if you ever have a question about salvation, you ever have a question about the Lord, you want to know more about the Lord, um, you want to share why you believe what you believe, about what you believe, I don't have a problem listening because I'm secure in what I believe and I know I'm in. And so, remember, if you're looking for an amazing, amazing journal to just learn how to start communicating with God, you can go to Amazon.com. Alma T. Filer. A Conversation with My Father is available, and it is a quick, easy, fun, but relatable start to prayer and just dialogue with Him. It doesn't have to be anything specific. You know how I feel sometimes we as Christians make it too complicated. If you're looking for a daily planner, like me, I'm a planner girl. I love to have my list and my planners. You're looking for a daily planner, but also, excuse me, tea, dandelion tea. Good. Clean out your liver. Dandelion tea is good for your immune system and cleaning out your liver. No, your gastro system and cleaning out your liver. But if you're looking for a great planner that, do I even have it over here? I know I'm off the camera. This is so not what you're supposed to do. Daily planner, it is great. I've been doing my planner, my own planner. I'm not showing you anything that I don't do. It gives you a great recap. At night, I get to put down what I'm grateful for. And so it's just a great tool to have and keeps me accountable with some scripture. So it's a life coach, it's a journal, and it's a daily planner all in one. You can do it all in one day with just a few strokes. It's not overwhelming. It's simple. So I have that also available. It's Because I Matter daily planner and self-care journal. So just a lot to enjoy. If you ever want prayer, please go to tashaylife.com. If you're looking for a great hoodie or sweatshirts that you can wear for the winter, some new styles are coming out. Great Christmas gifts. You still have time to get them in. Please go to Roar-X, which is roar-x.myshopify.com. We can hook you up there. And so I just love you like a lot. I pray you have an amazing rest of the evening. Thank you for spending time with me here on Tashay Life. This is timeless. I promise you. Here we're a community of hope where you get strength through truth, testimony, and transformation. I don't care where you've been or what you've done. Trust me, there's hope. And it's so much fun. I love you like a lot. Have an amazing, amazing, amazing night. Good night. A safe but unapologetic place to dismantle every lie believed and live in every truth.